Hey, I'm live, and tomorrow, hopefully, we'll do a show and we'll talk about a lot of things. Making sense out of nonsense. Keep it simple, stupid. I was watching Ruby Quinn and was it my brother Jesse was on and Jimmy Bell, and then towards the end, Julian Watson got in, and my brother kept asking me to watch it, and I did. And trying to make sense out of nonsense. A lot of people get upset because they don't see things happening as fast as they wish they would, or they're complaining. We're complaining about, like, I follow, the Federal Reserve news, and people are mad as hell because they're lying and lying and lying. People are mad as hell because the Department of Housing and Urban Development is making poor houses expensive, and people are homeless and all over California with full-time jobs. So I'm watching all over on YouTube, all of these problems everywhere, fluoride, chemtrails. Everybody has an axe to grind. Everybody's yelling and screaming. How do you make sense out of nonsense? Well, Jesus gave us the answer, and he talked about the talents. He didn't ask a lot of us. His yoke is light. What did he say? He kept it very simple. He gave you one coin. It's the coin of truth. And what does he want in return? For you to make a second coin. However, he didn't want you to make 10, 20, 40, or 100. One was enough. So the point is this: years ago, if you would have talked about the Federal Reserve and the crime syndicate that they are, they would have said, "Oh, you're part of that Ron Paul crazy libertarian group." But decades have gone by, 2 decades have gone by, 3 decades have gone by, and now millions of people have accepted it as fact that, yeah, the Federal Reserve is a crime syndicate. You could say the same thing about the Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, you guys are a bunch of crazy apostates. But no, the tide has turned. So a lot of people get discouraged because they say, well, I want the watchtower to go down. I want this to happen. I want them to get rid of the chemtrails. And my brother Jesse and I did a video how if you look at the skies, for example, in Arizona, every day you see puffy clouds now, or sometimes you still see things, but it's not like before where all of the chemtrails, every day you saw chemtrails. And there's hundreds of airplanes flying every day and not one airplane with a chemtrail in Arizona, that is. So the point is that it took decades. It took decades and everyone yelling and screaming. And now Robert Kennedy is saying, yeah, I think we know who's doing it, and they're going to pay, and they're going to be held to account. So keeping it simple, stupid, and making sense out of nonsense. At the end of the day, well, let me tell you this real quick. I was listening to Tom Homan, and they were asking him a question about immigration, and he answered. And they asked him another question, and he says, "Hey, he goes, I'm not going to comment on that because I'm going to stay in my lane." And that's something that we all need to remember: stay in your lane. We can't fix every problem in the world. Keep it simple, stupid. Like, I don't want to talk about Scientology. I don't want to talk about uh, the Mormons. I don't know anything about them. I'll stay in my lane. Jesse and I will talk about the world events, and we'll compare it to Jehovah's Witnesses and how the striking similarities. But the point is you stay in your lane, and you have to be happy and content that you just help one person. You help one person. And if every single one of us just, and we do, every single one of us just helps one person, keep it simple, stupid, then you have that talent that Jesus talked about. But at the end of the day, when you look at the cosmos, do you really think Jesus is concerned the uh, about the Federal Reserve or the fluoride in the water or the chemtrails or the Jehovah's Witnesses? No, he's concerned about two things. Are you on the side of the truth, or are you on the side of the lie? It's real simple. When you keep everything simple and you break everything down to its most basic form, you have to just learn to be happy and content that you're fighting on the right side. Now, I always tell people that the answers to all your questions are always found in a movie, a book, a song, in a play, wherever. And let me show you real quick the answers to this question of making sense out of nonsense. I'm going to share a screen, and here we go.
Maverick, it's not your flying. It's your attitude. The enemy's dangerous. But right now, you're worse than the enemy. You're dangerous and foolish. You may not like the guys flying with you. They may not like you. But whose side are you on?
And see, that's the point. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, you don't like me and I don't like you. It doesn't matter. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of truth or are you on the side of the lie? And some people right now, it's like Jesus says, it's the separation. There's a lot of people that are, and we're seeing it right now with Donald Trump. A lot of people are using government to enrich themselves. It just came on the news that one of the judges was fighting Donald Trump about the deportation of illegal aliens, and then her husband owns all of these properties in California that he's renting out to illegals. Look it up; it's on the Gateway Pundit. I mean, so we see the separation taking place, that there's a group of people that love the lie. There's a group of people that love the man of lawlessness. They have become men of lawlessness. And a lot of you get upset and you get angry, rightfully so. And I was mad and angry today. I was using expletives and I was cursing. And just like Asaph in Psalm 72, well, why the hell go to church? Why the hell pray? Why talk to Jesus? Why just why? And Asaph, the Bible writer, was having these feelings. He was pissed off too, because the people that were doing all of the dirty, disgusting things in the temple, going to a Jehovah's Witness convention, right? And you see what they're doing, hiding pedophiles, stealing property, destroying families, and the list goes on. And they just get richer and richer, and they get and and nothing happens to them. Nobody goes to jail. Everyone's mad at Donald Trump. Why are people not going to jail? Well, you're not the only one. Asaph, the Bible writer, you're not a Bible writer. God didn't choose you to write any book in the Bible. But Asaph felt that way. Psalm 72. But at the end of the day, he shook his head. He's like, no, no, I can't worry about that. They're going to pay for what they've done. And it's like my brother Jesse always says about Jesus Christ when he says that they have received their full reward. It's not going to, it is the best life ever. Life is never going to be better for the Jehovah's Witnesses, because this is it. This is the best it's going to be. Because at the end of the day, when you die, it's like you saw in that clip. Whose side were you on? Were you on the side of the children that were raped? Were you on the side of the women who can't speak to their children? I mean, we have a case right now. You see it in Rick Farron where Barbara Anderson, her husband dies and her Jehovah's Witness son is nowhere to be found. And then at the end of the day, when we all die, we're all going to be asked, well, what did you do on earth? Whose side were you on? Were you on the side of your family? Were you on the side of your mother, your father? No, I was with Jehovah and his organization. That was the clip. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of truth or are you on the side of lies? And so in that one of the things I did this video is because my brother was talking about how, for example, in this case, Julian Watson, when he came on the Ruby show at the end, and he was very discouraged, very, very discouraged, sad. But it's because he's not keeping it simple. You need to find happiness in knowing that you're not alone in your anger and your frustration. The Bible writer Asaph was like that. He felt just like you did. And he was upset. But he shook his head at the very end and he knew, let them. I can't control them. They want to go to hell. They want to do they're going to go to hell for what they've done. The Federal Reserve and the board, they're going to go to hell. You know it and I know it. We just need to choose to go a different direction. And we need to cooperate with the people in whatever lane we choose. So if you want to fight for cleaning up plastics in rivers, taking care of the whales, fighting the Jehovah's Witnesses, pick your fight. But just know that when you die, you're going to be you're not going to be like me. I have it, or I should have it here next to me, but I have my, oh, I'll bring it. I'll show it to you tomorrow. My one-way ticket, my fast pass. When you go to like Disneyland, they have a fast pass. So like when I die, I'm like, no, I'm taking this with me. And it's the letter that Watchtower took the time, the governing body, and they said, we don't want you anywhere near our property. We don't want nothing to do with you, right? Stay away from us. So I consider that, I framed it. I was like, I consider that an honor that they took the time to write me a letter, little old me a letter, and because they must have been afraid of me. I don't know why they're afraid of me. But so when I die, I can say, look, this is what I did. I didn't steal no kingdom halls. I didn't destroy families. I didn't hide any child molesters. I fought for the side of truth. And that's where your joy has to come in. And that's what one thing that we see right now in this wicked world is that Satan tries to steal your joy. And you let your joy go away because you don't stay in your lane and just fight the good fight. But if you stay in your lane and you fight the good fight, you'll be happy because God doesn't want you to change the world. He just wants you to change yourself. He just wants to make sure that you're on that road, the road of truth, and that you learn to hate the lie. And you know what? Lying is not good. Nothing good comes from lying. God wants you to hate the lie and love the truth. At the end of the day, keep it very simple. So making sense out of the nonsense, you got to look at the bigger picture. So I hope this video helped. And Jesse and I will be talking about it tomorrow. It's already 12 minutes, but I hope you like it, and I'll see you tomorrow.